Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the ADT session today. Cav, what one are we on right now? Number three, I think, right?
Number four,
Number four. And our topic is
mastering lead creation.
excellent. Great. Can everybody hear Cav okay? This is a great time to start building your leads and your pipeline. So I'm excited to hear what Cav has to share with us today. I'll continue to monitor the chat, but if you can, please turn your cameras on and also assign your name into the chat for attendance today. And with that, Cav, I am going to mute myself, but I'm going to let you take it away. I will let you be the host. Hang on a minute. There you go. You can share your screen.
All right. Okay, so as the last couple of weeks we've done this, we've talked kind of some foundational things, but now we're going to get into the next several weeks are going to get into the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day activity. And one of the biggest things that you can do to help your business is to learn how to generate your own leads. Now, this topic is kind of near and dear to my heart because, a lot of you know my story that when I started 29 years ago, there was no internet, there was no live transfers. It was basically we would get some telemarketing leads, maybe some direct mails on a Monday morning. We'd get maybe 5 to 10, and that's all we got for the whole week. And so we literally had to learn how to go create our own leads. One of the things that I talk about all the time is that when the internet leads came, the live transfers came, they became a blessing and a curse. They're a blessing because you can get them every day, but they're a curse because you can get them every day. And what I think it did is it stunted people's growth on how to learn how to generate your own leads. And the reason you want to learn how to generate your own leads is first and foremost, it will eliminate the competition. When you think about, internet leads, we're competing with agents all over the country for those leads. When you think of live transfers, you're competing with other health markets agents for those leads. And so if I can learn to create my own leads, I have no competition because these people are contacting me. Learning to create your own leads ultimately will save you money because, again, some of you know that live transfers are not cheap. Buying the quantity of internet leads that you're going to need to sustain your business, it's not cheap. But, if I can go out and create my own leads, that doesn't cost very much at all. And then finally, it gives you unlimited earning potential because, again, if you're reliant on the company to provide you with leads, if you're reliant on live transfers, you're limited on what you get. Where if I can go out and learn to create my own and I can still use those other methods, but I'm not reliant on them, it just makes this business that much simpler. So before we actually get into some actual techniques, there's some things that I learned several years ago that kind of changed how I thought about marketing my business because, when the internet came, there was all kinds of new stuff that came out on marketing on the internet and stuff like that. And so I want to share with you some of the concepts that helped my business. And the first is understanding trigger events. And so a trigger event is something that creates a need, which in turn requires a prospect to buy. If there is no trigger event, then there's no type of marketing that will get a prospect to act. Since we do not know when most people will have a trigger event, our job is to market our business so they will come to us when a trigger event occurs. And again, if you will remember last week when we talked about the modern buyer's journey, the very first thing we talked about was that when a need comes up, where's the first place everybody goes? They go to the internet. They start researching online. And so what we need to do is we need to be out there as a presence so that when a trigger event comes, people know to look for us. Okay. Now, the other thing that we have is in our business, we have open enrollment periods. And so, what we should be doing all year long is we should be focusing on marketing our business year round, specifically for these trigger events. Because if I realize that if I focus on marketing for the enrollment period all the time, I will stumble across people who have an immediate need. And so, a lot of people, when they think about marketing for the open enrollments, they think about jacking it up in September. I start jacking it up January 16th. And then next year it's going to be December 15th when the open enrollment ends. And so literally we should be out there marketing to people all the time because first and foremost, we just don't know when someone's going to lose their job. We don't know when someone's going to decide to become self-employed. We don't know when someone is going to turn 65. And so if we're just out there marketing all the time, especially marketing with our website, they can find us when a trigger event comes because if there's no trigger event, there's no marketing piece that are going to get them to do anything. If people don't have any quote unquote pain, if you remember from last week, they're not going to do anything. And so people ask me all the time, Steve, what's the best marketing piece? The one you get to them when they have a need. That's it. Okay. Otherwise, there is no magic bullet. You just got to be consistent and get it out there so when a trigger event comes, they'll come to you. So, how can we get our information out there? There's several different types of marketing activities. The first is what are called direct activities. These are activities that get your information directly to prospects so they can check you out and contact you if there's a trigger event. Examples are text, emails, voicemails, direct mails, walk-in drops, paper box stuffs, social media messaging. These are all the things where we're literally, and I'm not talking social media posting. I'm talking about I literally DM somebody. Okay. So those are activities where I'm specifically trying to get my information to somebody else. Okay. The second type of marketing is called interruption marketing. These are activities where you're interrupting a prospect to see if there's a trigger event. Examples are calling internet leads. Okay, guys, internet leads, they're just glorified cold calls. We don't know if they're looking or not. Some people are, some people aren't. Traditional cold calls, calling referred names. Someone said, hey, I need you to call my brother. Okay, that's interruption marketing. Walk and drop follow-ups, calling old leads, 3-foot rule, drive-by contacts. What's that? That's where you're sitting at a stoplight, you see a truck with Joe's Construction on it, and you grab your phone, Joe's Construction, 219-324-3527, and you just call them. Say, hey, I saw your truck. We help small, whatever. Or calling business cards. Those are all interruption marketing. Okay. And then the last one is passive marketing. These are activities where you do not directly get your information out to a prospect. It's more a matter of chance. Examples are giving clients business cards to hand out, pull tabs, take ones, radio, TV ads, newspaper ads, if there's even any newspapers anymore, BNI groups, trade shows, billboards, car wraps, placemats at restaurants. You've got that kind of marketing, social media posts, and even wearing the Health Markets logo is passive marketing. I've gotten appointments off people just asking me what my shirt meant. Okay. And so the whole idea behind all this is I do a little bit of all these, but my primary focus is the direct activities because those are the only things I can control. The other stuff I'll do, but I can't. But unfortunately, what I see most reps do is most reps do passive marketing. They take the path of least resistance. Well, I'm in a BNI group, I go to chamber meetings and stuff. And you've got to become aggressive and you've got to start physically getting your information to people to get more people to respond. Okay. And Sandra, if any questions pop up, you can interrupt me at any time. Okay.
I will. And, it's just a matter of sometimes doing these activities, getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. I mean, Sandler has a saying when it comes to prospecting, you don't got to like it, just do it. Okay. It's not going to kill you, but it could actually make your life a lot easier if you just, again, get out of your comfort zone and just do some things that, see, successful people will do what unsuccessful people won't do. It's not that successful people are special. It's just that, again, they embrace the suck. They get out there, they do it, they make it happen. So they don't have to do it the rest of their lives. Because, see, right now, if you're dependent on live transfers or you're dependent on internet leads and you're not doing anything else to build a local marketing, guess what? You're going to stay there. There's just no way out. It's not going to magically stop happening. And so you've got to make it to the point where I am going to go out. I'm going to start generating my own leads so I'm not as reliant on those things. You can still do it. I mean, we have a lot of agents nationwide that's all they do, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just if that's not what you want to do, if you would rather build a local business where you can have referrals and Google reviews and stuff to where you don't have to work the leads as much, you got to make it happen early on. Okay. And then finally, we all need to learn to leverage the power of the internet. So the internet is the most powerful form of leverage now available. People will not be willing to work with you until there's a trigger event, and the first place they will go for the information is the internet. And so the key to leveraging the internet is to get a domain name and use that name on all forms of advertising. So again, Health Markets provides us with a pretty nice website, but my domain name from Health Markets is www.healthmarkets.com/Stephen.Cavajola. That doesn't fit on a business card. Okay. And so what you want to do is, there's companies out there. I use GoDaddy, where you can go and actually create your own domain name that you can forward to the Health Markets website. So my domain name, I'm going to show it to you in a little bit, is localinsuranceoptions.com. And I put that on all my advertising that when people go to localinsuranceoptions.com, they go to my Health Markets website. And so I can text that to people, I can email it to people, I can leave messages. And so the first thing that you're going to want to do is get a domain name, and you don't want to get something crazy like I have freeinsurance.com or something like that. United Healthcare will swat that down in a second. But if I was starting today, I would just do my initials like slcinsurance.com or slcagency.com and just start putting that name out there to where it can take people to your Health Markets website. So if you don't have a domain name, I would seriously consider that. Yes, ma'am.
So just a side note here, when you are selecting a domain name, it does need to be approved by Health Markets, and you'll work with Rachel on that process.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever gotten swatted down for doing their initials insurance or initials agency.com. And you want to try and get a .com, not a .net or a .org. People just are more comfortable with a .com. They see some of these other things on the end, even though it's becoming more and more common, they get a little freaky about it. They think it's someone's going to come in and hack their account or something. So, but yeah, I would just start and the nice thing about GoDaddy is you can put in suggestions, and if it's not available, they will give you suggestions on what is. So it's just something to think about. If you're going to market your business, you want to market your domain name. And here's the reason why. The first reason to market your website is because it makes you virtual. Again, guys, if we can be everywhere at once, that is so much better. See, in the old days when people had to cold call, a cold call was a single moment in time. So if I tried to call you now and you weren't available, it was a missed opportunity. But if someone has access to your website, I can drop it off on Tuesday morning and they can check me out at 10 o'clock on Thursday night, and I don't need to be there. Okay. So again, it makes you virtual. You're 24/7, 365 when they have your website. The second reason is it makes you real. When they go to your website, they see your picture. They see that you're local, and it just gives them a little sense of comfort knowing that they're dealing with an agent that's in their area. Okay. Again, I'm not worried about getting my webs. If I'm licensed in Texas, I'm not really worried about getting someone my internet if they're in Texas. Okay. But if I'm going to start building a local practice, I want to have the ability for people to check me out. Um, because I will tell you, with all my years of experience in doing this, you can drop off marketing information, especially to small business owners, and they all have a little folder, and they'll stick this stuff in their folder until they need it. And so it's just one of those things where you just never know when things are going to come. But if you just continue to get your information out there day after day, and a lot of people ask, Steve, how often do you market an area? Once a quarter. I'm just always going to be out, and because again, if they keep seeing this Cavajola guy over and over again, they know that I'm not going anywhere. See, a lot of people, when it comes to the insurance business, they know most insurance agents don't make it. And so when they see you over and over again, they're thinking, okay, this guy's established. He's not going anywhere. Okay. And so what you want to do is you want to get your website out so you're virtual. You want to get your website out so you're real. And then once you understand this, marketing becomes as simple as what activities am I willing to do to get my website out and how many people will get my website before I'm done for the week. Just it makes marketing somewhat simpler when my whole goal is just how many people can I get my website to? My goal is to get my website to 300 to 400 people weekly. Okay. Now, that 300 to 400 doesn't mean 300 to 400 different people. I may get an internet lead that I text them my website, I email them my website, and I leave a message with my website. Okay. Those all count. I'm just pounding my local territory with my website. And so I want to make sure that my website goes out 300 to 400 times. Again, it doesn't have to be 300 to 400 different people. And that's just what I have done. That has worked very well for me over the years. Because again, guys, I've built this business to six figures twice. And all of it has been with direct marketing. Okay. I never built this business to six figures calling live transfer, taking live transfers, or just working internet leads by themselves. Marketing has always been a big part of my business, and it still is today. Okay. And my God, with the new VanillaSoft now and being able to tap into old leads, I'm just blasting out emails left and right now to people. I sent out 600 emails last week just sitting at my desk listening to podcasts. So, Sandra, were you going to say something?
Only thing was we have some brand new agents on ADT today. Thank you for joining us. You will have access to your website after your very first sale.
So the newbies are on right now?
We got a couple newbies.
All right. Okay.
Not the ones in class, but we've got some that were here from the last class.
Okay, good. All right. So again, my website is localinsuranceoptions.com. When people go to that, this is what they see. And here's the reason why I want people to go to my website. First and foremost, we're going to talk about next week about building Google reviews. Okay. But when they come in and the very first thing they see is 185 reviews, my website now can do the talking for me. I actually call my website a virtual referral. Okay. Because I have my customers leaving reviews. So if people want to check me out, they can come up here and click on this and they can start learning about the Steve Cavajola cat. Okay. The other thing they can learn is they can learn all the different lines of businesses that we offer. So I don't have to go in and do this long drawn out elevator speech on who I am, what I do. I just got to get on my website. They can check me out, and my website does my cold call for me. So literally, guys, my job is just to get my website out. That's why when I go out and market, I don't have any emotional attachment to it. I don't have to talk myself into walking to a business. It's just I walk in, I drop off stuff. I'm in a neighborhood, I stick things in paper boxes. I get a lead, I text it, I email it, I call it and leave a message. It just It's just simple. Okay. Because the only thing I can do is get my website to people and then it's out of my hands. And so by having that domain name, start getting this stuff out, start building up your Google reviews, all of a sudden you're going to have people that are going to start coming to you. Okay. So here's how I market my website. The first thing is walk and drops. And I follow a very specific process, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. So I'm going to hold off here. Direct mails. I actually use the white pages of a phone book. And so for Zane, you're kind of young. You probably don't even know what a phone book is. But again, they used to be really thick with consumers in it. Now it's just a business directory. And so if you don't have one, you can get them at Chamber of Commerce. You can go to, yellowpages.com and they'll send them to you. But there's yellow pages in here, but there's a whole section of white pages that's nothing but business owners. To me, this is the best mailing list you can get for small business owners. So you can call people out of here, you can direct mail them out of here. And then the other thing I do is Medicare agents. Okay. Because again, when it comes to Medicare, and one of the reasons why we tell you guys to kind of hold off a little bit on Medicare is the hardest business to market in because there's only a couple of things you can do. You can direct mail and you can email. That's it. You can't call, you can't do anything without consent. But Medicare agents, that's a great, and I'd say Asians. Someone said, "What do you Medicare Asian?" No, age ins you can mail them. Okay, so that's how I market my website through direct mail. Then I do paper box stuffs, and that's just in subdivisions in rural areas where, in some areas, the older neighborhoods, they kind of have the, like a separate box that are like yellow, blue, where you just stick the papers in. Now they're just glorified birds' nests and stuff because, again, there's no newspapers. But people don't take them down, so I'll just pop stuff in there. Or if you're in the newer subdivisions, a lot of the mailboxes have the paper slots underneath. And I'll just go and I'll drive on the wrong side of the road. Because if you act like you know what you're doing, they let you do it. So if I see someone in their driveway, I'll wave to them, they'll wave back. And it's just going through subdivisions, popping these things in. If I'm in rural areas, you get a bunch of farmland, stuff like that, I'll pop these. And then there's voicemails. So I can leave voicemails for data leads. I can leave voicemails for business cards. I can leave voicemails for walk and drop follow-ups. Okay. Emails. I email data leads. I email walk and drop follow-ups, and I email business cards that I find on community boards. And then text. I text the data leads. I text the walk and drop follow-ups, and I text business cards. Okay. Because again, the nice thing about VanillaSoft is if you put in a business card and text it and it's actually a landline, it'll turn red. Okay, then I know I can't text. But if it's blue, I knew it went through. Okay. And so again, these are just the things that I do on a daily basis where I can get my website out to 300 to 400 people. Okay. And like I said, it's not 300 to 400 different people. It's, one lead may get 3 or 4 emails, because if I text the lead 4 times, they're going to get my website 4 times. So yes, Silas.
Yes, Silas. So when you're doing your marketing, you said you do it daily. Are you blocking out time on your calendar for when you're doing your marketing types of activities?
Yes and no. So on Monday mornings and Friday afternoons, I basically do what I call VanillaSoft sessions where like when I come in Monday morning, I got a bunch of leads over the weekend. So I just block out the first couple hours just to knock those off. And then on Fridays from like 3 to 5, I like to just finish my week doing that. The rest of the time, it's just if I don't have appointments and stuff, I'll do it. But I try to do at least one session a day. Um, and usually my sessions last about an hour and a half before I need to figure out something else to do. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just try to work my VanillaSoft once a day
But
because I
you're
don't.
strategic about it. So
Yeah, yep. The only 2 times I do it where it's blocked into my schedule is Monday mornings and Friday afternoons. The rest of the week, I may do a session in the morning, I may do a session in the afternoon. Because one of the things that I have learned, like if you get a lead and you send a text, send an email, leave a message, and then follow up in one day, it's not going to come up in the morning. It'll come up 24 hours later. So I may have some leads that I need to work in the morning, but I may have some leads I need to work in the afternoon. So that's why I just, and it's kind of crazy because I used to spend a lot of my time out in the field, but VanillaSoft is making me kind of lazy to where I'm spending more time in the office, especially when we have all this freaking snow, where I'm not going out as much now, and I may not go out as much. I may start doing my field work just when I have appointments out in the field. But if I'm around here, I got no problems with just sitting at my computer for an hour, hour and a half and just working. I mean, I'm shooting out emails to leads I got in 2017 that I never worked in the old system. And then I kind of have a way that I work them so that I always know what I'm supposed to do next when they pop up. Because what I'll do is I'll send them an email. Right now I'm sending out the dental vision email and then I hit no. So they're not going to show up for 6 months. But when they do, the next time it comes up, I just wrote life. So I know next time it comes up, I'm going to do a life insurance.
Yeah. So you've built your pipeline to allow you to be able to do that and go back. Like you said, you had some even from 2017, you haven't had the opportunity to work. Now you do. So,
Yeah.
and you're working more efficiently, it sounds like.
Yeah, I just if you look at my PTS the last couple weeks, my direct activities are 5, 6, 700 instead of 2, 3, 400
And I
because
know you're going to talk about it, but obviously we have some people that haven't been doing this that long, so they don't have a pipeline like that. So this is where we got to build that.
yep, and that's where we're going to talk about some strategy. That's a nice segue, Sandra, because I'm going right into how do we start building the pipeline. So, no pressure prospecting. Sandler is big on no pressure prospecting. The reason a lot of people don't like to prospect is they put too much pressure on it. They do things that don't work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some strategies to engage with prospects in the field. One is kind of engaging with the customer. The other is not. So again, I take away all excuses because if you don't like engaging with people, you don't have to. Okay. But if you like engaging with people, I'm going to show you a tool that you can use that will take the pressure off of you, but it's a great way to generate leads. So, but before we get into that, prospecting the Sandler way prospecting is a series of carefully designed events meant to determine whether there's an interest in your product or service and whether it makes sense to keep talking about a possibility of doing business together. It's not an excuse to make a 30-minute sales pitch. You know why you walk into businesses that says no soliciting? Because most people walk in and they want to do a sales pitch instead of just walking in to see if there's what you're trying to do is figure out if there's a reason to even continue the conversation. Okay. The other thing is when you go for the appointment, instead of trying to just do a pitch right then and there, it takes the pressure off both the prospect and the salesperson. The salesperson doesn't have to worry about which features and benefits to bring up, and the prospect doesn't have to deploy their defense mechanisms against salespeople. So don't fall in the trap of closing the sale when all you really want to do is close the appointment. But here's another way you want to look at this. Your real job when prospecting is to audition people for the role of your client. Basically, you're there to evaluate potential. You're not trying to sell them anything. In fact, you're trying to disqualify. If you remember from last week, we talked a lot about disqualifying people or qualifying people out. So you don't have to waste each other's time with people who are not serious about working with you. So you're not trying to convince anyone of anything. You're trying to figure out whether they're a good fit for you. And this is called going for the no. Okay. And when you're prospecting, prospect. Go for the appointment, not the sale. Uncover some pain if you can. And if there's some pain, ask if they want to schedule some time to discuss the problem in depth. Propose a date and time and then see what happens. Okay. So prospecting small businesses. I think this is where we all need to start, and here's why. This is the most proactive form of marketing because if the door is open, you can go in and also most businesses are not on the do not call list. See, the reasons we can't call consumers anymore is because of the do not call list, and I don't feel like paying $11,000 per fine. Okay. But with small businesses, if the door's open, I can walk in. Okay. I can't walk into a consumer's house. I can't call consumers, but I can call most business owners. Now, I know sometimes you'll grab a business card for a landscaper and his cell phone will be on the do not call list. Because again, guys, when we pop things into VanillaSoft, if they're on the do not call list, VanillaSoft automatically blocks them out. And so if I pop in a call and it shows up do not call and I don't have permission to call, I'm not going to call. I'll text, I'll direct mail, but I'm not going to call. Okay. Um, and then most insurance agents are calling leads all over the country, and group insurance brokers don't want to deal with the small businesses. So again, the model for most insurance agents nationwide is to sit behind your desk, get licensed in multiple states, and just be a call center. That's how most of them are doing it. They're not walking into individual businesses. And group insurance brokers don't want to, if you're not 50 employees or more, group brokers don't even want to waste their time. So we have a market that's basically underutilized and they need our help. Okay. Health insurance is always a big deal to small business owners, whether it's for their own family or whether or not they can provide it for their employees. They're always looking for help. One call can result in multiple sales. I have a little trucking company down the road that I walked into. I've got 13 clients from that place now because whenever they get a new trucker, they send them to me. I got a little plumbing company where I have 9 deals out of that because, again, walking into small business owners, if I can hit it, it could be multiple people for me. Small business owners understand the need for income protection products and life insurance. And actually, small businesses are where you're going to see some of your biggest life cases because they have a lot of times loans they have to cover. They might have, a buyout situation where if one of them dies, they want to buy out the family. They have key employee stuff. I mean, I just did a life insurance policy on a business owner just to cover a loan. It was $237 a month in premium. My advance on that was $2,000 for a 20-year term. Okay. I'm just saying, I mean, you can find some really, really good deals by working with Small Business America. And so how do we do it? There's a number of ways to do it, but I'm going to kind of go back to an old faithful, and it's business surveys. And the reason that I think people should start utilizing this is they're a great way to generate leads within Small Business America. You see, by focusing on completing a survey, you don't have to do a lot of talking. Focusing on completing a survey eliminates rejection because they are not rejecting you. They're just telling you they don't want to complete a survey. And whether they complete the survey or not still allows you to do a walk and drop and gives you a chance to get a business card. And so here's the script. Hi, I'm sorry to bother you, but my name is Steve and I'm with Health Markets. We help small businesses with benefits and we're conducting a short survey to see what the needs are in the area. Would you mind taking a few moments to fill out a survey? And actually, while I'm doing that, I'm just holding this right in front of them so they can see it's not going to take them more than 30 seconds. Okay, so again, hi, I'm sorry to bother you. My name's Steve with Health Markets. We help small business owners with benefits, and we're conducting a short survey to see what the needs are in the area. Would you mind taking a few minutes to fill out a survey? If they say no, no problem. Here's some information. If we can ever help you, let me know. I mean, the worst case scenario, you're still going to do a walk and drop. But if they say, yeah, I'll fill out the survey, let me show you how powerful this is. Now, this is an old one. The new one has the new Health Markets font, but it's the same questions and stuff. But let me tell you why I think this is so important. Okay. So first of all, a lot of this stuff here, they're not even going to have any idea what a lot of this is. Okay. And that's okay. But the next one is, how do you prefer to shop for or purchase health insurance? Research and purchase online, meet with a local agent, ask family and friends for a referral, respond to an ad. They're going to tell you how they shop. Okay. What type of group and what type of health insurance do you currently have? Group, individual, short term, fixed indemnity, none. On a scale of 1 to 5, how well does your current health agent or broker represent your service? Okay, you're going to see if they got anyone they're working with. Then the second page is a bunch of, maybe you walk into a place where they don't need health insurance, but look at these other things where you're just asking, are these important to you? Dental coverage, prescription, health insurance, vision. If a key person passed away, providing long-term care, saving a fixed percentage of your income. Do you have an employee that you can't afford to lose to competitor, paying off business survivorship debt, someone you want to, run your business if you retire? Guys, this is a fact finder for the business. But here's the most important question. Are you interested in a free, no obligation health insurance evaluation from your local health markets agent? Yes, no, or not right now. Guys, what if they circle yes? Ding, ding, ding. What if they circle not right now? When would you like to talk? Maybe they got a renewal in October, and then you just gather their information. But guys, what you're doing by doing this survey is you're just creating a lead card. Because what if someone here says no? But I go back and I see that they're interested in dental and life insurance and all that, and I have their name and number. Could I follow up with them in a week or so and say, hey, Sandra, I stopped by your business last week. I know you weren't interested in health insurance, but you said dental is important to you. Would you like to talk about that? You had on there that, losing key employees is important to you. Would you like to talk about some strategies to help you with that?
Yes.
Guys, this is a lead card where you can find so much business if you just go in and ask people to fill it out. And so what you can do is you can go to marketing on demand, and I think you can buy a packet of 10. I think they're $12. So my goal would be to get 10 surveys filled out every single week, a pack a week. That's 10 leads a week that I can start working. And so I may have to walk into 50 businesses to find 10 people. But again, if I'm just going to walk in the business, if they won't fill it out, I'll leave some marketing. But if I will, and my goal is just to do 10 a week, that's 10 leads a week that I can start working next week, especially if they're interested in anything.
Now, Steve, when they're filling this out, are they filling it out at the moment or are they sending it back to you?
They're filling out right in front of me. And a lot of times I'll ask, hey, can I get a business card just so I can staple this to it? I mean, if they can fill out the back if they want to and do all this. But if they don't want to fill this out, can I just get a business card and staple to this just to prove that it was you who filled this out? Because again, if I have things where anything over here they're very interested in, I'm going to follow up with them down the road. Okay. If they tell me that yes, they would like to meet with someone, I'm going to set the appointment right then and there. That's going for the appointment. Okay. If they say not right now, I'm just going to ask, when would you like me to follow up with you?
Steve, when you go into the business, are you asking if that person you're coming in contact with, if they're the business owner or
Yeah.
how? Okay.
Hey, my name's Steve. I'm looking we're doing a brief survey. Is this something you can fill out or should I talk to the business owner? Because I mean, I'm just looking to find 10 business owners. So if I'm walking into a little you know, hair salons, if I'm walking into auto repair shops, the owner's gonna be there. Again, you're walking into a business complex, you might not get, there's going to be gatekeepers and stuff like that. And we're talking about smallest of the small. But
I
guys,
keep thinking about like the little shopping plazas. They have a lot of small business, different,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
you walk
that's,
into a barber shop, you walk into a hairdresser, dentist office, because usually at a dentist office, they'll have a business manager. Have them fill it out, okay? Just to see what's going on. So, because like I said, I'm not asking you to fill out 50 of these a week. I just get 10 a week. That's 10 leads a week. That's how you got to look at this. If I can get 10 people to fill this out, now, like I said, I might have to walk into 30, 40 businesses to find 10. That's okay. I got to do the walk-in drops anyway. Now, that's if you want to accelerate the process. Now, I understand most people like me, when I first started, I had call reluctance. I didn't really want to engage with people. So the second thing you can do, so the first thing, so the business survey is prospecting. When you engage with someone that's prospecting, when you walk into a place and you drop off information, that's marketing. There's a difference. Prospecting is engaging, marketing is dropping off information. We understand the difference. So what I can do with marketing is I can do walk-in drops or I can work business cards. So here's how I can do that. So step number one, I can walk into a business and just drop off a marketing piece. In other words, I'm not even going to try and fill out a survey. I'm just going to walk in and drop off a marketing piece. And then I'm going to pick up a business card if one's available, or I'm going to look for community boards to get additional business cards. Yes, Sandra.
yeah. Just going back to the survey, Zane just asked a question. Do you think making a digital version of the survey to send to business owners online and on social media would be a good idea?
They won't do it. They just they won't respond to that. You just got to be there and do it face to face.
I think more and more business owners want that personal engagement anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of walking and dropping is no one else is doing it. They're not, we're creating a relationship. So, so I would say just go in and just can make that connection that, hey, I'm a real person. I can help you. Need to see if you even need any help. If you don't, you don't. If you do, we'll figure out when to get together and talk about it. Okay. So, so step number one is just do the walk and drop. Drop off a marketing piece and grab a business card if you can find one. And then while you're out and about, find business cards on community boards. They're everywhere. Step number two is you want to enter that business card into VanillaSoft. Then step number three is you want to send a marketing email. And so the subject line is not sure if this is for you. Because again, what most curiosity kills the cat. And so one of the things that Sandler talks about is, kind of dummying up a little bit, saying, I don't know if this is for you or not, just to get them to read it. But then the email just is, I help small business owners who are frustrated with their current healthcare situation and are looking for cost-effective alternatives. I don't know if this is relevant to you, but if it is and you'd like to see if we could help, please reply to this email or contact me through my website. So again, it's just one of those things. Are you frustrated? If you're not, don't worry about it. If you are, and you want to see if we can help, reply back to the email or check me out. Okay. And then do a results call, voicemail, follow up in 1 day. Okay. Then step number 4 is phone call after business hours. Again, marketing is not about engaging. So after business hours, I'm going to call and say, hi, this is Steve. I help small business owners who are frustrated with their current healthcare situation and looking for some cost-effective alternatives. I don't know if this is relevant to you, but if it is, you'd like to see if we could help, please contact me through my website or call me. So the first one was an email. The second one's a phone call. Now, if someone answers, I'm sorry, I must have the wrong number. Again, you don't want to engage. Just, hey, because like I said, it could be a landscaper or his cell phone, so you catch him at night. And then do a results code DM, follow up in 1 day, and then send a direct mail with their business card attached. And then do a result code. No, this will close the lead for 6 months, and then you can repeat the process. So, guys, as I'm gathering these business cards, I'm building up a small business database within VanillaSoft that will automatically let me just keep marketing. And I don't have to change my message because what do? We help small business owners who are frustrated with their current healthcare situation. They're looking for cost-effective alternatives. That could be, we could help them with health plans off exchange. That could mean we help them with ICRAs. That could mean we help them with other things. That could mean we could just be their human resource guy and help all their employees with their insurance. Most of my small businesses, they use me as their insurance guy. That's it. They just, hey, when we hire someone, will you come get them in a plan? Yes. So, and some of them have set up HRAs, some of them have not. So, or ICRAs, yeah. So that's just a process you can follow with business cards is if you don't want to engage, or you can engage with the business survey, and then you can also do walk and drops, grab business cards. And again, now all of a sudden you're starting to create this database within VanillaSoft of small business owners that are just going to pop up every 6 months and you can start the process again. So, any questions on the small business prospecting or marketing?
I don't have any questions in the chat.
Okay. So let's kind of wrap this up with a couple of things. So first of all, this is my marketing plan of action. So my goal is to schedule as many appointments as I can, but if I don't fill an appointment slot on my schedule, then I need to have a backup plan. So we've talked about time blocking, and if I don't have an appointment, I'm going to fill it in with marketing or dialing the phone. And so I make it a goal to get 25 points an hour for 4 to 6 hours each day, and that will get me to my 500 to 1,000 points on my PTS each week. So again, if I have an appointment slot for Tuesday at 1 o'clock and I don't have an appointment, I'm going to choose walk-in drops, direct mails, phone dials, whatever. I'm just going to do at least 25 points of something else. I can do more, but that's just basically what it is. And so I'm just going to kind of do this because if I just focus on what am I going to do for the next hour, I just need to get 25 points. So as soon as we get off ADT from 9 to 10, what am I going to do to get my 25 points? From 11 to 12, what am I going to do to get at least 25 points? If you will just get into that habit every day, you will start hitting the activity thresholds you're going to need to start having people start coming to you. And if you use some of the tactics that I showed you, you're always going to have people to work, even if you don't have a lot of leads in your database right now. Because again, if you go out and you start finding business cards, they're everywhere. You can start giving yourself some things for activities really, really quick. So, all right. So let's wrap up with why this works. And so I'm going to talk about the principle of sowing and reaping in marketing. You see, the concept of sowing and reaping has been proven over and over again, whether, because again, this is religious, this is in the Bible, but this concept works whether you believe in that or not. Because again, I'll just give you some examples. If I drink 5 Mountain Dews a day, eat fast food all the time, I'm going to become a diabetic. Okay? Just as easy as if I start eating clean, I start exercising, I watch my carbs, I get sleep, I'm going to be able to become healthier. If I treat my spouse like crap, I'm probably going to end up in a divorce where if I start putting my spouse's needs before my own. So again, the principle of sowing and reaping works in everything. You reap what you sow. And so when it comes to marketing, if you just understand the concept of the law of the harvest, which again, back in Jesus's day, most people were farmers, so he talked in this language. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the law and then I'm going to convert it to marketing in the 21st century. So first of all, we reap only what has been sown. What that means is if you do not do, you will not get. If you're not planting seeds, you're not going to get a harvest. So if you're not out there marketing, no one's going to call you. It's just that simple. Okay. We reap the same in kind as we sow. In other words, you get the type of business you market to. So if you want to focus on life insurance, you do more life insurance stuff. If you want to focus on Medicare, you do more Medicare stuff. I like to do the marketing things that kind of share the whole 5 lines of business because I want to work all of them. But that's the whole idea is if you plant an apple seed, you're going to get an apple tree. You're not going to get an orange tree. Okay. So if you're kind of, and I see Jim on the call here, and him and I talked a little bit ago. He was focusing, I want to make my shift towards Medicare. You got to start marketing Medicare. Okay. You got to start marketing to that market to get those people. Okay. That's all this concept talked about. We reap in a different season than we sow. In other words, guys, it takes consistent effort over time. What a lot of people, think about a farmer. If he planted a seed and then a week later came back out, well, I don't see anything. That didn't work. I'm not going to do it anymore. No, what does he do? He plants the seeds. He starts taking care of it. And when's the harvest? It's usually months later. And we always talk about you need 60 to 90 days of consistent activity before you're going to start seeing a trickle of leads come in. And it takes about 60 to 90 days to start having it trickle in. It takes about 1 week to lose it all because that's what happens. People start marketing, they start getting appointments there, and all of a sudden what they do, they quit marketing and all of a sudden everything dries up. You've got to be consistent. You gotta work marketing into your week every single week. Okay. Now we reap more than we sow. What that means is your results are usually bigger than your investment. So when I sit there and I look at, okay, I've got this marketing survey, cost me $12 for 10. If I make one sale off of a survey, am I going to make more than $12? Probably a lot more. I mean, you get a $2,000 advance on a life insurance policy. You just paid for these surveys for a year. Okay. You paid for your marketing stuff. And so, when a farmer buys a bag of seed, do you think he makes more money than it cost him for the seed? That's what we have to do. But a lot of people are like, well, I can't afford to market right now. You can't afford not to market right now because you usually get more back than you put in. Okay. We reap in proportion to what we sow. In other words, if you want more, do more. The beautiful thing about marketing is it's a percentage business. And everywhere I've read, they said a typical response rate is 1 to 3%. So if that's true, am I going to get a better response on 100 or a better response on 1,000? I just got to do more. Okay. And that's where most people are, is they're just not doing enough to get the response that they need. We reap the full harvest only if we persevere. What that means is we must never give up. Just every week, I'm going to go out and plant seeds. Every week, I'm going to get my website out to people. I'm going to email it. I'm going to text them. It's just non-negotiable. I'm going to do it every single week, and I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm not going to stop because I know eventually I'm going to be rewarded for the effort because I believe we have a God who rewards effort. He may not reward it right away. He may test us to see how faithful we are, but he always rewards effort. And then finally, we can't do anything about last year's harvest, but we can about this year. So what that means is if you're not currently marketing, start now. Doesn't matter what you did last year, doesn't matter what you did last week. You can all start now to start building this stuff up. So maybe some of you on the call, you're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to give that business survey thing a shot. Some of you are like, you know what, I don't want to know if I'm really for the business surveys, but I can easily go out and drop things off and hand out business cards. Some of you may just need to decide to get a domain name. Okay, you got to start somewhere. And then you just got to go do the activity over and over and over. And the only thing you can control is what you do. Don't get all caught up on, well, my God, I sent out 300 direct mails and no one's responded. Good, send out 300 more. It'll happen. I promise you it'll happen, but you got to do it. Is Lauren Christie on the call here? I can't see her.
She was, there she is. Yes.
Lauren, can you unmute for a second?
I don't think she's muted, but we can't hear her.
You got now.
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. So you and I worked together when you were new.
Mm-hmm.
How much time did you spend marketing your business?
A lot.
How many times did you take your kid with you when you marketed your business?
All the time.
Yeah. Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Did you,
And
did you get any results from it?
yeah. Yep. I've still got people coming in slowly, but I mean, it's 2 years I think it was 2 years and a couple days ago or something. Whenever, 2 years as an agent, but yeah, it all kind of slowly builds up. It takes some time, but it builds up.
Yeah, because I pointed out Lauren because Lauren still sends me her PTS and she still does a high activity volume. Okay. So how have you incorporated marketing into your schedule?
Um, certain days I usually do certain things. I'm juggling more now because I'm adding in networking groups. So I've got 4 different networking groups that I'm doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out, I'll do some paper boxes as I'm driving to a networking thing or meeting somebody working
So let
and
me ask you this. I mean, I know you when you first started, you were pretty heavy into walk and drops and stuff.
yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Now that you're running more appointments and stuff, you're having to kind of find other methods, right?
Right. Because yeah, I've got people calling me with customer service calls and stuff like that and appointments and you gotta try to find time in between all those now,
Mm-hmm.
which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. But it kind of sounds like, I mean, because where you at you're in the 40,000s, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah. So almost tier two, single mom, just making it happen. So
So question in the chat, related to, your domain name, the GoDaddy cost. Is
mhm.
that reimbursable from Health Markets?
It may be, I don't know, because I
Yeah.
don't reimburse any of my marketing stuff.
Yeah, it may be, and I was going to say the best person to ask, what is reimbursable through your Lead Connect dollars or, Health Markets, that would be Rachel.
Yeah. But I will tell you, my domain name, it cost me like $20 a year.
Yeah.
It's very inexpensive.
And even if it's not reimbursed, you should be keeping track of your business expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the key here is just have a plan, be consistent, be diligent, and do the work.
Yeah, and the great thing about it, guys, is if you start really producing with the company, we get a lead bonus that you can start using. So, when I get my business surveys, when I buy all my marketing pieces, because I do a lot of trifolds because it talks about all the lines of business. I don't pay a penny for these. Health Markets buys them for me because I have enough in my lead account. I think I got $15,000 in my lead account right now that, I'm only buying 20, 25 leads a week, 40 leads a week. I'm trying some other things right now. But eventually, if you start writing enough business, that's not even an expense for you anymore because you can use your lead dollars to cover a lot of that stuff. And so that's why, You want to get to the point where you don't have to spend a penny on marketing. You want Health Markets to buy all your leads. You want Health Markets to buy all your marketing activities, you know? So, I mean, I haven't even funded, you know how you can do the match? I haven't done that in like 5 years, and I still got 15 grand sitting in there.
And that's where we want everybody here to be.
Yeah. Now I know we got people that still fund theirs and they got $40,000 in there. It's like the reason I don't fund mine, and I know Silas is probably going to shoot me for saying this, is I'd rather put that money in my 401k or my set plan instead of just letting it sit that I'm probably not, I mean, 15,000 is plenty, you know, but again, you want to get to the point where you utilize what Health Markets provides for us. And if you just produce on a consistent basis, you should get to the point where live transfers don't cost you anything if that's what you want to do. Marketing pieces don't cost you anything because Health Markets is bonusing you enough to cover all of it. So,
Great. Any other questions? This has been great, Cav. Great reminders. Anybody that needs help in really talking through their marketing strategy, don't hesitate to reach out to us. But have a plan. This is our last week of the sales year too, so make the most of it. But go out, do what you can, meet lots of people, leave that trail.
yeah, just think next week, guys, you're all going to be tied with Kevin McIntyre. You all got a shot to beat him starting next week. So.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. Steve, thank you. Great information. Always good to hear from you and see everybody. And we would look forward to you having your session next week.
Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Bye.